Hello, this is Clean Coach Carly. I am the staff nutritionist for Healthy Habits Living. And if you have followed me for any amount of time, you have heard me mention that I have been a lifelong sufferer of chronic digestive problems. And they keep getting better and better, gratefully. And I rarely have flares anymore. And when I do, they're pretty mild. But I want to tell you how it's taken me so long to manage that and a new kind of piece that I have investigated and found to be helpful. I was always so confused when I was diagnosed with leaky gut syndrome as to why it wasn't getting better. I was eating all the right foods and avoiding the ones that I was sensitive to. I was taking my probiotics, I was taking my glutamine and my other nutrients for my intestinal lining. I was taking my digestive enzymes and my betaine hydrochloride for my stomach acid. Yet I was still sometimes having what seemed to be like random food reactions. I was also frequently still getting brain fog after I ate, bloating, sometimes diarrhea, vacillating with constipation. And that kind of puzzled me for years and years. Fast forward a decade or so, and new research has come out in that time, and medicine has gone forward in a way that is finding more answers for these digestive problems. So really the answer to that question of, I have leaky gut, but why am I not getting better? The answer is really two reasons. One is SIBO, small intestinal bowel overgrowth, and I won't cover that one in this video. And the other reason is histamine overload or histamine intolerance. Now, histamine is a natural part of your digestive system. And I'm not talking about histamine like when you have hay fever and like watery eyes and nose and you're reacting to the pollens in the air. That's more of a blood-borne reaction, and that's separate than what we're talking about today. Today, I'm talking about the histamine that is in your digestive tract. So how does histamine get in your digestive tract? Well, there's three ways. First of all, you naturally make histamine while you're digesting foods. The other way is that you can eat foods that are naturally high in histamine. Some foods that you might recognize would be smoked meats or wine. Those are naturally high in histamine. The third way is that you might be eating foods that are blocking your body's ability to neutralize histamine. So you can kind of have a three-part whammy there with the histamine issue. Your body is equipped to neutralize or break down the histamine in your digestive tract using an enzyme called diamine oxidase. It's shortened as DAO. So your body makes DAO to neutralize histamine. But in the case of genetics or poor methylation, chronic infections, liver issues, autoimmunity, and a plethora of other reasons, you may not be making enough DAO enzyme in order to neutralize all the histamine in your digestive tract. What does that mean for you? Well, you end up with these food reaction symptoms, and some of them can be very nebulous. There's a whole list of them, but some that you might recognize that are happening to you, chronic nasal congestion that doesn't have to do with seasonal allergies, or having nasal discharge right after you eat, or flushing when you eat, turning red and a little bit hot, even sometimes people getting hives. Racing heart or a high pulse rate right after you eat is a sign of high histamine or histamine intolerance. And itchy skin and eyes, ears, and nose can also be a sign of histamine overload. So what do you do? Well, histamine intolerance or overload is also associated with MCAS, which is Mast Cell Activation Syndrome. This is a pretty complicated issue, and so you need to get to the root cause of it. That can be difficult. What isn't difficult is dealing with the symptom of histamine overload. That's not that hard. All you need to do is take extra diamine oxidase, DAO enzyme, as a supplement every time you eat. I recommend taking Histamine Manager about 15 to 20 minutes before each meal. That way that DAO enzyme can get down into your digestive system before the food actually arrives. I recommend, again, 2 before each meal, and I recommend you stay on that dose for around a week to see if that is helping to reduce your histamine overload. You can up the dose as needed, but I recommend giving it a fair chance of about a week, 2 capsules per meal. At Healthy Habits Living, I'm very happy to offer Histamine Manager as a solution for histamine intolerance, as it's something that I have suffered for maybe my whole life, but at least 2 decades. And at Healthy Habits Living, we are always here to help you get healthy so that you can stay healthy and be healthy.